All right, I think that I've gone live now anyway. Okay. Um, I had tried to do a video earlier on today in the garden. I like doing it in the garden in the sunshine, and I have the dogs, etc. But today we had a visit from a cat while the dogs were in there, so they were going crazy and running around everywhere. And also we had a lot of birds flying around going crazy, and it kept on disturbing as I was trying to do some video. So anyway, I hope that it's gone live. I don't know if I've got anybody on, or if it's chat. If you are on, just do a thumbs up, and also like go on the chat and let me know that you can hear me and everything. Okay, I just want to talk a little bit about well, contract law, the UCC, and what a lot of people would say was like the straw man. Okay. Well, you get a lot of questions coming in saying, like, how could this be true? Why would anyone ever do this? Why would the government ever do anything like this? The government is there to help you, etc. But listen, hi, Michelle. How are you doing? All right. The government, they haven't just sort of like one morning just got up and thought, do you know what it is? I've had a bad day. I've had a bad week. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to screw over all of humanity. Okay. This has been going on for centuries. Okay. For centuries. All right. The whole thing is it's all about controlling and owning anything. All right there, Keith. Good to see you on here. Okay, it's all about controlling and owning everything, right the way back to the first ever trust. All right, the first ever trust that was created by a guy called Pope Boniface. Okay. Champion, lovely that. All right, changed your signature on your bank account. That's brilliant, that is. That's what we should be doing. Excellent, well done. Josh, I suppose, Joshua. Okay. Excellent to hear. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, right. So like Boniface, I think it was about 1302, and he created this trust, the first ever trust ever of anything. All right. Now you probably heard me talk a lot about the SETA KV trust. All right, but this was like the first ever trust that was kind of invented, if you want to put it that way, in about 1302. Now, what he done was he actually said that basically, I think it was Boniface the Eighth. I think he said he basically owns everything in the world, and it all belongs to him under like his banner of the church. And the only way that you can get to heaven is through him, is through being. I suppose it would have been the Catholic Church at the time. So, it was by becoming a part of the Catholic Church, and then you could, get to heaven. And you couldn't get to heaven unless you did it through him. All right. Hiya, Petrie. You all right? So anyway, that is where these, what did they call them again? The Inquisitions started. All right, you've probably heard of the Inquisitions or the Spanish Inquisitions, that type of thing. Now, this might seem crazy, but this is exactly what we're talking about today. This is it. What we're living through now is because of what happened back then, all of this stuff. So like on the Inquisitions, what they did is they had the job of making sure everyone converted over to being a Catholic to get into heaven. And in their eyes, if you didn't convert over, then they killed you. They tortured you until you became Catholic, and if you didn't do it, they killed you, and you probably died anyway from getting tortured. That's a fact. That's like the Inquisitions. You probably heard the term Spanish Inquisition, although it wasn't Spanish. It was like worldwide. It was everywhere. But the Spanish and the Portuguese, they went over to the Americas and discovering the Americas. Even though everyone was living there anyway, but they discovered it. Hey, how amazing that, isn't it? And they killed and tortured millions of people who wouldn't convert or didn't convert. And the whole thing was about the baptism. And what they were doing, that Pope Boniface, he was claiming every soul in the world. Hiya, Andy, how are you doing? Hiya, Julia. I hope I've got that right. Yeah, I hope so. I was going to go live on Facebook, but then I thought, let's be adventurous and do it on YouTube, only because I'm not sure how to do it. So hopefully people are talking to me now, so I must be doing something. So we'll see how it turns out anyway. All right. If you got questions, you can ask questions. Like I say, I tried to do a video earlier today, but with the dogs going mad, with a cat ran in the garden, it was terrible. So Ginny's chasing the dogs around to keep them away from the cat, and the birds were coming in. The dogs were chasing the birds, so it was a bit mad. So the video didn't turn out the way it did. So anyway, here we go. I still fancied doing something. This just got me tempers up on. Just finished the classes with the kids. Just come back. So I thought I'd do a little bit. But anyway, going on to the trust. All right, this was the first trust invented. And what he was doing was claiming everybody and claiming all of our souls all belonged to him and to the Catholic Church. Okay. And that was the first trust. That's basically what he did. And it followed on from there, but he was a hideous guy. I'm trying to seek out some of the pictures and everything like that, so that of the torture machines that they used to use to make everyone become a Catholic, so you could get to heaven, right? So they used to hideous things, that they would use to make you all go, oh, I'm going to be a Catholic now and get into heaven. All right. So what they've done after that is just talking about, why would the government be doing this now? It's not about now, it's about like forever and ever and ever. Okay. So after that, right, the other popes on there continued with this trust and building this trust up, so that he had basically said everything belongs to the Vatican, everything on there. All right. So then the other trusts, when they changed the new trust, that's when they set up specifically called it the Seta KV. When he did the trust, it was, I can't remember, it was called the Unum Sanctum. That's what his trust was, the Unum Sanctum. That's the very first trust in the world ever in history. And after that, right, hey, how are you doing, Gorby? I got your message somewhere, can't remember where. You've done something. Well done. Great to see you on here. Look, it's my birthday, by the way, so I'm allowed. Which is, there was a couple of things that I was actually trying to get a point over today when the dogs were running mad. The first one was like, why was the government doing this? Why would they ever hurt me? Because it's nothing to do with what goes on now. This has been something that's been going on for centuries, and all these people that are doing it now, right? I have to tell you about this little kid in our class yesterday, but they've been picked. Thank you. Eyes wide shut. Thank you. Yeah. They've been picked specifically to go in these places. All right. So like the, what do you call it? Happy Earth Day. Thank you. Boris Johnson. I call him Doris, Prime Minister, or even in like, the president of the United States, whatever you want to call him now, anything like that. These are all picked to be put in place to do these jobs because, right, everyone's saying happy birthday. Thank you very much. I am young. This is the job that they've got. This is the role, the tasks that they have to do. And it's all about the fraud that they've been creating for us ever since that time. Now, it's kind of got more sophisticated. It's probably a good way of doing it, sophisticated, which is where we have the birth certificate fraud. Okay. Now, just what I was saying, it was like one of the kids last night in the class, and they just popped out of the blue, and they went, the government is trying to kill us all, just like that. And we have to, at the minute, we've got to walk the kids in and out of the class, take them to the cars because no one else is allowed in. It's a big nursery and they're not allowed in the building of the nursery, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, from Wolverhampton, thank you very much. Janine took this little kid out of the car and said to the parent, "Oh, he says the government's trying to kill us all," and he says, "Oh yeah, he's a total conspiracy theorist, and he thinks the world is flat, and he thinks no one's went on the moon." And well, no, the parent said he's a conspiracy theorist, and the little kid goes, "No one's been on the moon. The Earth is flat, blah blah," and a couple of other things like that. And Jean went, "Oh yeah, that's right." The parent's face was like, anyway, but so they know, people. How does he know at that age? He's only at 7 or 8 or something, and he knows something's already a bit skew with. But the first thing I was wanting to say was about, like, this isn't a modern day thing. We're not trying to like say that the government's all of a sudden woke up in a bad mood and they're going to go and like do bad things to us. This has been set up for years ago, and these people have just been put in place to keep it going, right? This is the way it is. This is how they make money and keep us down. These people, their religion is about keeping everybody down and out and bad. It's all about evil. This is a religion to them. It's not like, a mood, I start arguing with somebody because you're in a bad mood. We've all done that before, but this is the way that they've been created, live, and everything. So, that's what I was saying. When people say like, "Oh, it's simply not true. It doesn't. UCC doesn't exist," and the government aren't trying to harm you. The government hate you. The biggest complete and utter waste of space scumbags in the planet. But when we're talking about like the UCC, and people are asking about like the law and saying like about like common law and the law of the land and everything like that. I mean, you can kind of, in a way, just say there is no law. Everything is run by the UCC. Everything. I don't care what anyone says. I know people say, "Oh, the UCC, it's only in America, it's only in the United States." That's because they've got the book written there, right? I understand that. But the UCC controls everything that happens on contract law across the whole planet. So to just say, for instance, that you are selling something from America to Japan. And when you're selling it to there, you got to make sure that you're going to supply the goods and get paid for the goods. So you need contracts in place to make sure that all goes smoothly. And it's the UCC that does that. So the same thing, if you were selling it from England, say, and you were selling it to America or Australia or Japan, then you need to make sure that, like, you supply it as you've said it, and they pay you as they've said. It's a contract, right? And it's all managed under contract law or UCC. Your whole life is a contract. Tell you something today, talking about, again, from another kid, right? Came in at the wrong time, couldn't do his class. The dad was there talking, and his mother, the dad's mother, recently passed away, so they'd had this funeral. Now this guy's built a bar, pub, whatever we want to call it, in his back garden. There's a lot of that happening in the UK right now. So they've got all these bars there, so he had like people around and everything. Now for a week, as you do in a week, and somebody like called the police and complained that these people were like, gathering in a group. They weren't doing the 6, being in groups of 6 feet away and all that stuff. And what they'd done is that I think there was, I can't remember now. I think there was, he said something like 12 or 13 of them that were there, and every single one of them got a £200 fine for being, breaking COVID regulations. So the if you paid within a certain amount of time, early, quick, then you got 50% off. So instead of being 200, it was 100. I mean, even that should make you be thinking, this is ridiculous, right? But he was shocked as well, because he got his fine not from the government, not from the police, not from the local council or anywhere where you would think you'd get it from. He got it from a company called Acro. I can't remember if I've done a post on this before, but Acro is a private limited company, and the shareholders and directors of the private limited company are the chief inspectors of the police force in the UK, right? So this fine that they're saying is like for COVID or whatever it is, so you shouldn't say that word, anyway, too late, goes direct to this company into their pocket. And for what? Because they own it, because they've set this company up. It's a private limited company, a corporation that's set up so that they can actually get paid these fines. How insane is that? Hey, Sandra, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it is my birthday. What I should have done, I watched a video just about a week ago, and it was a high-ranking barrister in the UK, and she had got all these fines squashed or quashed or finished, and she was taking these governments and police to court because of the completely unlawful and illegal, not just like unlawful, but illegal in their eyes. Legal and lawful. We work on lawful and law, right? To hell with legal and statute, right? Not interested in that. We will always want to work with the lawful and the law, okay? But this barrister actually got hundreds and hundreds of fines quashed because it was actually illegal as well, what they were doing and what they were trying to do. He's paid it, but this is the thing. He made a contract with them, all right? And this is sneaky. Now, this is good if you've ever had a fine like this, okay? Think about this, right? What you have to do is when you get this fine, it's from a company called Acro in the UK. I don't know if it's different, if well, it'd be different, but if it's in a different country and they might have a company set up that they'll do fines through, because it's all just profit. We are all working under commerce. It's commercial law, contract law, UCC law. That's it. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, why are you getting these fines for everything? Why are you getting speeding fines? Common law is about like protecting you and your property. So if someone harms you, then you have to be helped. If you harm someone, they have to be helped, either physically harming us or taking something from them. Harming them or harming the property is wrong. But if you're speeding in your car, and I don't like speeding, I don't want anyone to be speeding, but you know, you're not harming somebody at that particular point. You could do, and that's why I don't like the speeding part, but just using it as an example. All right, if you've parked in the wrong place and someone gives you a parking fine, who have you harmed? Where is the crime? Okay, corpus delicti, body of the crime. If there is no body of the crime, if there is no corpus delicti, there is no crime. So you can't be prosecuted for it if you stand up for yourself and if you do it correctly, because they're using statute legislature, which you can only be tied to if you consent. So going back to the fine, well, he got this fine, okay? So he agreed to pay the fine because, and this is the sly thing, you have to email them and ask for instructions on how to pay the fine. So what are you doing? You're actually contracting with them. As soon as you've sent the email off, you've made a formal contract and you've asked to pay the fine. You've asked to pay. You've consented and you've asked permission to pay. It's the same with tax, right? You have to always consent and you have to be tied into it. Okay? So from South Africa, wow, Finley, amazing. Had to pay the fine today. All right, actually. Okay. Pity I hadn't done the video before. All right. So she might not be a bar member anymore. That is a chance. There was a what did they call him? A renegade QC. I think they called him a renegade QC. And he went against Tony Blair. and try to get Tony Blair done. You see, the thing is, like, they did him for like through a common law court, and I'm not pushing it that it's bad or anything, but you know, I'm not being funny, but he's still walking around. They convicted him in a common law court of genocide. Doesn't seem to have bothered him at all, does it? But they tried through legislation to try him for, I think it was called aggression, and they couldn't tie that word aggression because they're doing it through the International Criminal Court, which they've opened now, and they're trying to actually get all of these, I don't want to say the words, right? Charlie, Oscar, Victor, India, Delta. Think about that on a phonetic alphabet. Charlie, Oscar, Victor, India, Delta. What does that spell? So anyway, they're trying to get these laws pushed to go through the International Criminal Court, which will open up a court case in The Hague. And that's what they should have done with Tony Blair. And this guy, I can't remember his name now. They call him a renegade QC. And he's probably not on the bar either. All right. Because they look after themselves and they look after each other. And if you go against them, all right, like I'm doing, but these people are obviously high ranking, then, you know, you're going to end up in trouble. But yeah, that was what I'm saying. But on the consent thing, from there, he had to ask to pay the fine. So once you've like gone in and done the email, how do I do this? You've actually contracted. You know, you might not think you have, but you have, because you have approached them and asked how to do it. And you have to, because he told me today on the thing, it says there, you've got to email us and ask how to do it. And if you do it in 14 days, you get it for half price. Half price fine. Well, anyway. So the another thing that I was wanting to actually talk about, not just about the fact of like, you know, why did the government do this? This has been going on forever, for as long as we can actually imagine. I was wanting to talk as well about these legislation things that we're talking about, and consent in particular. Now, if anyone does have a question, because I see quite a few, like, you know, popping up and asking, or it's not asking, but saying happy birthday. So I thank everyone. If you do have a question, ask me it now and I'll try and tell you it. I went on to the email and I was only on very short. It's hard to get on at the minute, and you know, with it, there's something wrong with it, but I will get it fixed. But there's just far too many to kind of answer. I'm going to do some stuff there where I can have like step-by-step course set up so you can download it. But on here as well, obviously on the YouTube, on the videos, the questions there, all right, are in the videos. The answers are in the videos. Try and have a look for them. Lost my train of thought again. Oh yeah, about like consent and everything, in law and legislation. Because this is like obviously important when you're doing with the UCC, and a lot of you are asking about like, you know, debts and that type of thing, because you know, everybody's like in certain positions and you want to try and be protected by using the UCC, and then like that's why I went back to say, where did it come from? It isn't something that's brand new and it's never been used before. The whole world is run on the UCC, but they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you. Okay, you're not supposed to know. Now, a lot of the notaries have been refusing to sign the or to notarize your documents. Okay, so we do have the notary, Nigel, who if you want them, I'll send you the details. All right. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. But also, right, there's one, I've got a notary in the group. It's an international notary. Now, we're not 100% sure, but they think that the paperwork that I read, it says it's totally fine to have it notarized by anyone, as long as you've got the license. So have a look in the group. What I should do is make a post and link it so people can see it straight away. I will do that. But think about that. But anyway, I'm jumping backwards and forwards. What I wanted to talk about was like the legislation, right? And the law, which is what we want to talk about, the law. All right. We will always win if we do the law. Let them have legislation, we'll have the law. Okay. So the I think it was in 2008, maybe 2008 or 9, there's a guy called Jack Beeston, and he made a statement to the European Commission about legislation and about the law, stating that statutory legislation could not be law, was not law. Statutory legislation, an act, right? So now we're under this act now, which is the Charlie Oscar Victor India Delta Act of 2020, and they've extended it, okay? And that's like rules everything. But this guy has already stated before, it is not law, because you hear them saying, I was like, you walk into like my building where the gym is, and they've got signs up. I ripped them off, and it said you have to wear a mask by law. No, we haven't. It's not law, right? So I ripped all the signs off the walls and off the doors. But for the Facebook group, you can go it. I can't remember. I will put the link in. All right, but it starts off with UCC, I think. So if you go on and have a look, just put in capitals UCC, and then it'll probably come up. Have a look for it on there. But that guy, he point blank said it, and we should Google it so that you can have it. So it says, that like legislation, statutory legislation, and a statute or an act, right, is not law. Only law can be law. Okay, so which leads me on to the next point, which is about law, which is about a lot of people are saying, they were panicking about like here we have the what do you call it, census. And they're worried about, they don't want to do the census, but they're scared they're going to get fined. But if you look at who these letters are addressed to, it's addressed to the householder, but your name's not householder. And if it is, there's 60 million people called the same thing right across the country. Don't worry about it. Don't panic about it, right? They're not going to take you to court. You shouldn't be given. Why do they want all those details, All they want to do is make more money out of you. That's what it's all about. Nothing else at all. So don't worry about it. But the just say, for instance, that we're like, you did get taken to court for something. A lot of people now are saying, well, I want to not pay the council tax. I want to not pay the credit card bill. So say if you did that, now we have got steps to do things correctly, by the way, right? We have what we call the letters 1, 2, and 3, plus the I can't remember the notice on the fourth one, and then we have the liens that we put against other people as well. Okay, so there's a way of doing it. You can't just stop and ignore them. We have to never ever be in dishonor. Don't be in dishonor when you're dealing in this type of thing. So what we do is we always give them an acceptance, a conditional acceptance. So we don't just say, we're not paying you. What we say is like, we will pay. I will happily, gladly pay you everything upon proof of the debt, upon proof of the contract, upon proof of a wet signature contract between ourselves. That's a contract. Life is contract law. Everything is contract law. So if you can provide me with the contract, I will provide you with the money. Simple. Okay. So if you get a summons from court saying just say that they skipped over a bit and they took you to court, and it's just an invite. A summons is an invite. A court summons, what do you summon? You can only summon the dead. Well, if you agree you're dead, then you're going to end up in court. But if you don't want to be dead, right, then you don't go. So say you don't go, okay? So if you don't go and they don't turn up and they try and still do something, okay, I've got a dry throat. So this is the excuse. Okay. Oh, there you go. UCC, contract law and taking control of your straw man. That's the Facebook group. Thank you very much, Fleming. Excellent. Thank you. We have got I have got other letters as well. Sorry, I'm going off, but like eyes wide shut. See, have you got other letters? I've got 3 letters that go on like that are separated. You got the commercial true bill first of all, and then you go on the first letter, the second letter, and the third letter, which are notice letters, and then you have a 4th one, the 4th notice. It's got a proper title. I can't remember what it is. And then after that, we'll go on to the liens. Okay. And it's all set up in a specific way, and you have to have specific times. I think it's 14 days between them all. So you don't just ignore them, and because you're always accepting as well, so that you're in honor, you're never in dishonor. Okay. But remember, you know, it's like this is just great, you know, that you can do this type of thing, but it isn't just about like not wanting to pay things or anything like that. I mean, this is huge. I want to create an enormous movement where we have literally like millions upon millions and millions of people that are all standing under UCC 1-308. I do not consent. No consent. Okay. UCC 1-308. No consent. No contract. No joinder. You have no jurisdiction. That is a movement that we can hit them with and go back and just stand there peacefully saying to them, okay, that is what I want to do. So there's a lot more than just so like, you know, I'm not going to pay me credit card bill, but that will be handy at the same time. Okay. Now we have I know again, jumping, accept for value and an EFT to get rid of the actual debt. Okay, but I'm gonna have to do that on a totally separate thing because it is quite complicated. There's a lot to it. I know other people do accept for value, where they literally just write on accept for value and send it back, and nothing happens, and they end up in trouble. There is a lawful way of doing it by using your closed accounts. Discharge is the debt you use a closed account. So if you can get Blacklaw's dictionary, especially the 4th edition and before, the more modern ones that keep changing the words. But if you try and look for a closed account, bank account, and look what it says on the closed bank account, closed account. When they put the closed account, it actually states in the law that you use a closed account for offset and discharge. Offset and discharge. Says it in the law. Says it in the law book. So I can teach you and show you what that means, and also how to do it and how to design an instrument, a financial instrument is what it's called, to use to discharge or offset, say for instance, your tax bill. Now it's 100% legal. Okay, so you've got like two things, because it's legal, because we don't have money. There is no money. We have to remember that. So you have the what is it called? The Bills Act of 1882 in the UK. Can't remember. It's something Bills, or the HGR of 192 in the US, the House Joint Resolution, where it specifically tells you that you do not have money. You have what is called promissory notes. Your notes, 10, 20, 30, 40, they are not, it's not money. It's a promissory note. So you can design what's called an EFT financial instrument. And the EFT financial instrument against a closed account, a closed bank account, which is never ever closed. I'll explain that in a second. And you use that instrument to discharge the debt. Okay, now it can't just be, it doesn't have to be just tax, right? But I'm just saying, for instance, because you're dealing with the same groups then, because it's all their central money, it's all the same things, their central accounts, they all know. Don't think anyone doesn't know, which is what I want to talk about. The Queen's speech, somebody put it up in the group, which is brilliant. I watched a video a while ago talking about that coronation speech, but it was a really in-depth video. It was well over an hour, and it was going on breaking it and decoding it really line by line. This one was a short one, but showed the main points. They know, that's what the point I'm saying. They know what they're doing. But this discharge, the closed accounts. Now, in 2007, okay, we had 2005, 6, 7 was building up a property business, and we had over $1 million worth of property, like around America as well as in all over the UK, and we lost it in a week. It went from, like, you know, being up there to actually being homeless, which is why I got into this type of thing, trying to discover more. You know, and you know, from there, this is why you try and help other people. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so on the discharge, I had that a bank account, and it had I think I made sure I had minus 1,500, and it was like the top of the overdraft. So I just like made sure it stayed at overdraft. So when you go bankrupt, it's supposed to close everything, and everything starts again. Okay, so the I would have presumed, because of what they've done, that that bank account would have been finished, and it was finished. But then I got a credit reference score through, and it had all of my accounts, and there, right, is this bank account that's supposed to have been closed through a bankruptcy in 2007. This is what, 2021? So that's what, 8 years, something like that, and it's still open for discharge and offset. Discharge and offset. Okay, are you listening? So they never ever truly close bank accounts. You keep them open for discharge and offset. So I can show you ways how to do this. And what you do is you create like what's called an EFT. EFT stands for electronic fund transfer. Now, you might know an electronic fund transfer by using your credit card or a bank card, and you just do it online. That is an electronic fund transfer. So you're not using a check. You have to write it on the back. I mean, I am going to do a section, and because of what it is and everything, you know, you want to learn how to do it, you're going to have to go and get this course thing. It's going to be a short course, and it's going to show you that. Or I'm going to do it like this, right? This might be a better way of doing it and showing you how to literally design these things. And it's on the back of a check, an old check. So you need to have old checks from an account that looks like it's closed, but it's never, ever really closed. Okay, they're never, ever really closed. Okay, and you have to use the special wording, and it's like, you know, you'll not be surprised. It has to be a special coloring, and you have to write a certain message on the front and a certain message on the back, and that discharges, okay, or offsets the debt. So it could be a credit card debt, could be a mortgage, could be a mortgage. Okay, so you have this, it's called an instrument, an electronic fund transfer. It's a check, but you design it in a different way, because what you make sure is it's not written like it's a check, because there's no money in it. Okay, remember that bank account that I had, I made sure it was well overdrawn because I was going bankrupt. It's stolen all my property, and I had stolen it all. So I'm saying, well, I'm making sure I'm not paying that back. So it's like 1,500 overdrawn staying there. So when I've done all these checks and everything, you know, to make sure that I can use this, it's 1 penny. 1 penny is in there to make sure it's open so that they can use it for offset and discharge. That is the law. They don't have to tell you. They don't have to tell you about it. is the thing. It's the same about like claiming a secured party creditor. And by the way, you can't do this unless you are a secured party creditor. You have to be a secured party creditor no matter what. Okay, if you're not that yet, make sure you get it, and then you can take real advantage of these things. All right. Now, it's good to see Andy on. Now he's done a version of the accept for value, and it's really interesting because you never heard anything back yet, which is brilliant. So keep this going. But on the way that I do it, and the way that I've been taught how to do it, is by using the official account numbers that are given by the government. Let's just talk about the UK, right? Not the IRS. I've got the IRS codes, right? But the IRS codes for the USA. But I've also got the UK Bank of England sort codes. Now, the UK Bank of England sort codes, they're the ones that you have to use to do an accept for value. All right? So on an accept for value, by using these Bank of England, if you're in the UK, IRS, and the IRS is everywhere, by the way, you know, and it would be reasonably easy if it was like New Zealand, Australia, or anything like that to get your IRS codes, bank codes, sort codes. But I have the ones for England, and it's for the debt management account. Sort codes in the UK for the Bank of England for the debt management account. It has to be a certain one, okay? You can't just do them all. Anyone. And then you use your account, which is via, if you're in the UK, it's different to the US or Australia, New Zealand, because in say the US, they have the number is actually written on the back of the NI card, the national insurance card, or national security card, or social security card, or whatever it is that you call it. They don't do that. We don't even get cards anymore. And I went and actually spoke to them about getting a new card. And they send you a letter, and it just has your letter with your national insurance number on. You don't get any reverse card numbers like you do there. They make it easier in the US and in Australia. But here, you actually use the national insurance number itself minus the letters. You can't use the letters, obviously. But we replace the letters with numbers, specific numbers. Tied in with these specific sort codes, and then you can do the writing the way that I show you how to do it, and you offset it to this account, right? So you're saying accept for value, take it out of this account, rather than just saying accept for value and start off and leave me alone, which is all right, you know, great and everything. But this is saying there's your account, this is what it is, that's where you're taking the money from. Don't be talking to me anymore, right? So accept for value, return for value, there's the account, take it out. Okay. So there's two different ways that you can do that. That is the accept for value, and what we're talking about like on the offset when you do the EFT, which you do need your own old bank account, which you might think is closed, but it's not closed. If anyone's had an old bank account, right, that you think it could have not even used it for 10 years. 2007, I thought they closed mine, and it's open. It's got 1 penny in, and they kept it open by the penny. Now I can use that. So I'm not going to say like on here what I'm going to do, because everyone could see this, but you know, I mean, from the bank and government and stuff like that. So obviously what you do is when you're putting yourself up, you're putting a target on yourself, you know, like, so I'm telling everyone what to do. They're going to think we have to shut him up. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm not going to say, you know, what I'm going to do, but, you know, there's this account that I can now start using and utilizing to do the EFT. So I will tell everyone on a more private basis, not on this open forum, you know, on a YouTube live, how to do the EFT thing, and I'll also show you specifically as well how to do the accept for value with an account number. wherever you're from, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, the US. All right. So that you can utilize these methods. And you can only do this by being a secured party creditor. So, I mean, a lot of this, I was taught by several different people on different seminars and webinars and whatnot. And he was saying it was one of his friends, one of the guys that I should be doing again tomorrow night, but I'm not doing it because it's my birthday. So I'm going to have the weekend off. So I'm not going to do any training this weekend, like coaching or studying. I'm just going to have the weekend off. I've done a lot anyway the last few months, and I do it every day apart from this weekend. So but it's all, I obviously want to get better for myself, but I also want to pass it on. All right. A lot of what I study as well is democracy and also the common law. Okay. Like I'm not into the Article 61 thing, as in, try and pull back from everything, because the barons aren't doing anything. They're not supporting you or helping you at all. But the Magna Carta is how they actually got the Constitution for the United States as well. It's a fantastic document. But you got to remember as well that it was actually the Knights Templar who forced King John to sign that, and that was set up by the Pope, right, coming from the Vatican, and it was just all about getting everything that they wanted, so because he went off the rails a little bit, and he wasn't anyone important enough. That's the truth. Not that I was there, but when you really dig in and look at it, but just so you know what that is. But I keep wandering off and forgetting what I was talking about. Crazy Cat 83, hello, how are you doing? All right, let's have a look. If you do have any questions, let me know, and I'll see if I can do anything, answer anything on here. Are you talking about Steve? Don't know anyone. Well, I know a few people called Steve train at my gym, but certainly not anybody that I train, ask with, study with, or anything about the UCC. Yep. Okay. What's that say there? UC has to be in English, but the other ones has to translate. Oh, do you mean the forms? My forms? Yeah, you have to. Obviously, if it's the other forms. Ooh. I'm working on this new document right now. It is called Notice and Demand. All right. Now, I thought I would be able to do it quicker, but it's big. It's like very complex, and it's all about law, which is what I was talking about before with the law. And this, I have to tell you the address. This is, when you do the rescind all signatures, and it had these addresses to send them to. I've put the address list in the Facebook group because this is obviously for the UK. And what I've done is I've revised the list a little bit of people that I want to actually approach and put this to. Okay. Yeah, I'm traveling with the new plates. Yeah. I've never been bothered by anybody, Tony. But I've also got something else that I'm doing about the plates and about the traveling. So it's getting deeper and deeper. And this is part of this thing about the notice and demand. Notice and demand. I haven't got it. I've got it in the computer. I'm working on it. It's going to be around 20 pages, this document, and it puts them all on notice. And I'm gonna, if you think for the UK what this is, and then your own country, this is who I'm putting on notice. A guy called Andrew Bailey. He's the governor of the Bank of England. So he's basically the CEO, the boss of the Bank of England, which is a private bank. It's got nothing to do with England. So if you find out in your country who's the IRS man, I'm sending it to him. Specifically at his address. I've got all the addresses here. Okay, there's another guy called Jesse Norman. Or it might be a woman, not sure, but I don't care. And that's the financial secretary. And I've got the address to send it to. So it's all going to be sent by registered mail. Rishi Sunak, he's the Chancellor of the Exchequer, so he's going on there. Kevin Sandler, Sadler. Probably never heard of him. He is the CEO of Her Majesty's Court and Tribunal Service. Now, if you're part of the courts, why would you need a CEO, Chief Executive Officer, for a profit company if it was a court? Unless it's a for-profit company. They're all private, limited companies, okay? So, you know, Kevin Sandler, he is the CEO of the HMCTS, and I've got his address. Boris Johnson, he's getting one. Suella Braverman, she's a QC, Queen's Counsel MP. I have her address down there. She is the what is it called? I can't remember. Something about the law. She's a lawyer, QC, Queen's Counsel, on the barrister, sworn to the bar. Priti Patel, all right, not a very pretty person. Secretary of State, she's getting one. Grant Shapps. This is when you're talking about the plates. Who was talking about the plates? Where is it? Tony, right? So I've got the letter there specifically going to Grant Shapps, who is the Transport Secretary. So we're talking about transport, we're talking about traveling. They're trying to tell us that we are drivers. We're not drivers. We don't need a license because we're not making any money. We're not in commerce. We're driving a private conveyance. Okay, and we are just a person traveling. Not a person, sorry, we're just a man or woman traveling. All right, that's Grant Shapps, that's the secretary. So bear that, you know, I'm going to have this up and then you can see it, and I'm going to do it so it's edited, not edited, editable, if that's a real word. So you can change it and it'll be in red where you need to change it. And I will put this up for you. I mean, it's a massive document and it's a brilliant document. And what it does is it ties everything together. So you have your security agreement. You've got your UCC one anyway because you've got your filing number. So that's you as a secured party creditor. You can't do this unless you are secured party creditor. So you got your security agreement goes in with your hold harmless agreement, all right, and your rescinding of the signatures. And this one here, this ties it together. This puts the whole thing together and gives it to them. So, you know what, there's no money. So we're telling the Bank of England, we know there's no money. So we're giving it to Rishi Sunak, who is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, who makes this magic money appear from nowhere. We're telling him we know that he's doing it and we're not part of it, right? I mean, there's more to it than that. You'll have to read the letter, but it's not a letter, the notice and demand, and it puts them on caution. All right, puts them on caution. Now you can change the word and just say, for instance, if it's the US, you have I can't remember, just there's a special word. What we have under PACE, PACE, and you have to have the special words where you put someone on caution before you arrest them. And there's the same thing in the other countries as well. I can even say the word and I kind of get it off my head. Somebody tell me the word. What is it that you do in America when you have to read the rates? Okay, it's reading the rates. That's what I'm doing. I'm actually putting them on caution with this notice. Caution of prosecution if they bother us. Okay. I mean, on loads of different levels, you know, it's a really good one. So who are we up to? Alan, I don't know how to say his name. Hara, it looks like. He's the CEO of HMRC, same as the equivalent IRS. Why have you got a CEO? It's like, you know, these are for profit companies. Then you've got Dominic Raab. He's the Foreign Secretary. He's a Scottish guy. He's the one that admitted that all the tests were false, and he got into a lot of trouble for that. What's that say? Ken McCallum. He's the Director General of MI5. So we're telling MI5, we know what you're up to, we know what's going on. Okay, Miranda rights. That's it. You see, I knew. I could see it in my head. I just couldn't get the word out. But you know, when we do it, it's called pace. When they do it, it's called Miranda or whatever you want. Miranda. I just couldn't get it. I knew. You know. And here's another one. Dame Cressida Dick. Fancy having the chief of police whose name is Dick. Right? It's a woman though. Right? And we're putting her on notice, and it's telling them, you know, that we know what the game is. And the next one is oh no, not that one. Ian Diamond. He's the general agency. I haven't got my glasses. I need, you know. There we go. He's the agency executive for the General Register Office, where you put your birth certificates, where they start the fraud at. Right? So we're telling him we know what you're doing. We're putting you on notice. Okay. And then you've got and the United Nations representative for the UK as well. So we're telling them. Okay. So this is, I'll be putting this out, and you'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to edit it for how you want it. Right, and this will tie everything together. Now imagine this. Now you've all got it, and you've all thought, right, now what do I do with this? Maybe anyway. So I can send off my rescind for signatures. I can understand doing that, but this does everything together, and basically gives it to them and tells them, look, do me a favor, piss off, right? And then we see how it happens. I don't know, you know, but you're telling them that, you know, you basically what it is you are telling them you are not a corporate fiction. You are a living man or woman, and you will not be treated as such. Do not treat me as such. Don't try and trick me. Don't lie to me. This is what it's all about. It's very complicated, very long, but it steps it down bit by bit. A part of it is about traveling, just because they had mentioned that. I am allowed to travel. I'm allowed to travel freely by air, by sea, by land. You know, you can't stop me and harass me. And it also gives them a breakdown of what you're going to charge them per person, per hour, if you are harassed. All right. But this is the one that you do have to get notarized. I'm going to try very hard to finish it on Sunday. Tomorrow, I'm not going to do a lot. Right. I want to have a bit of, because fair enough, Thursday was my birthday, but I had to, obviously go to the gym and that, so I'm just gonna laze around, hopefully lie in the sun a little bit, and you know, have a nice evening, but try and get it finished on Sunday. I've got other people's paperwork that I have to do for them. Some people I'm doing it for, you know, obviously at a cost, so that I can do all their paperwork. If you want that, you can ask me. I can only do a few though, because obviously time restraints and everything. It's hard for me to do everything for them, but that'll be ready and that'll be going up. And that's brilliant. I know it's probably me bragging, but this is brilliant. I've looked at it from several sources to get the information that I wanted to tell them about what we're doing on the UCC and what we are. We are secured party creditors. We are not to be messed around with. We are not to be treated as if we are a legal fiction. And we know what you are doing. And it tells them as well about the trust and about the birth certificate fraud. Okay, so it's really laying a lot out. Okay, so what, hang on, give me a sec. What's this say here? Is there any way to address? I don't really know what that means. If you put them on notice, then they're on notice anyway. If they change the person, they're still on notice. So if a new person moves into their job, you know, they would still be on notice. You're putting the corporation on notice, aren't you? Really, I think that's what that means. That says that in the addendum, you mentioned putting in your pension info, but not identifying numbers. Yeah, that's right. What kind of info? Well, just say that you had, I don't know. Say that you had people I don't know who supplies pensioners nowadays, because there used to be loads of private pension companies and all got shut down through fraud. That tells you. Yeah, just say that you work for like the police, right, for instance, and you have a pension and they've been robbed by their pensions, by the way, which is their own fault kind of thing, because they're not watching. They're actually ripping everyone's pensions off. Anyone who works for the government, they're ripping their pensions off. This is probably why they want rid of everyone, because they're not gonna give them any money. But you could put that, say, my police pension, and and put that in the UCC under the trust, okay? Or if it was like, I'm trying to think of a name. Legal in General is an insurance company, or it was. Let's just say Legal in General, pension product, pension plan, blah blah blah, and put that in. So you can't put the numbers in. It's just like, you don't want to give anyone your bank numbers, do you? Or your security numbers, or your national security numbers, or social security numbers. You don't put numbers in like that, because everyone can see it. That's what we mean by don't put the numbers in. So tell them what it is. Like, it's just pension product, started even a date, say, for instance, but don't put any numbers in, okay? Well, you know what it is? That is, I've been looking at trusts, okay? I have. And I've looked at a couple of other groups as well. And hopefully all of you will know Michael Obanisia, who is busy now, fighting a case. It's going to be very hard for him to get anywhere. But I tell you what, the effort that he's put in is amazing. Everything, the work that he's done is fantastic. Now, but what the point is, they have a group and they have a trust. Now, my view is, like, the UCC is the law that we can use to fight them back. I don't see the point of saying, well, I'm not part of the system, I have no name, my name's Fred, it's not Fred of family this. I say, look, go down the line of the system, right? Use their laws to beat them. So we can set up our own trust. So what I'm saying this for is because, I've seen their trust. I wouldn't want to be in their trust because I don't like the way they're doing it. But I'm looking at setting up a trust. And I'm looking at setting up a trust as a group, just for you've said that, okay? So, yes, that is something I'm looking at. That's something I would like to do, and I would like to be part of it. And if anyone else knows anything, then please feel free to send me any messages or anything. But yes, I am looking at trying to set up, well, not trying, I'm just going to do it. You don't try, you either do or you don't. It's a bad habit saying that. I'm going to set up a group trust that people can become part of the trust, and we're all in the trust, and your property goes in the trust, your children go in the trust, so they can't be touched. Don't get them birth certificates, you put them in the trust. It'll be a simple family, it's called simple, the word simple, a simple family trust. So you all go in the trust and you're all under the trust and covered and safe, okay? And then people can't come in and interfere with your life. And it does work, believe you me, it works. All right, we've got proof that it works from police and other things. When you're protected, you are protected. Okay, but yeah, we're that's definitely something that I'm going to be looking at doing, and we are going to do it. All right, and we'll set up a trust. We'll set up some kind of trust. So, like, I was showing the t-shirt before. I'm going to get some t-shirts made with UCC 1-308. No consent. No contract, no joiner, or something like that. I just really fancy it. I think it'd be dead cool, and just get everyone to get t-shirts or hoodies or something like that. Would you like that? Anyone like that? That would be good. Okay, but those addresses there. Let's have a look. Just going on there, but I would also include as well, when you're doing those addresses, just because I'm jumping back again and I'm giving them addresses, I would also say, if it was me, I would also be sending it to my local council leader or whatever. We have a council, Northumberland County, all right? And they've got a council, which is like a local government. Find out who the leader is. They're getting one. They get one of them letters, them notice and demands. And also your local MP or your local senator, whatever it would be in your country, all right? And so that's all written down. That's what I've got ready to go out to everyone. Okay, so that's where we're going with this, and that's what I'm going to be doing and getting ready for everybody. Okay, but also when I was talking before about the other things, I probably will have to do it separately and like, you know, do like a kind of like a course where you have to go and buy it, or do like a webinar where I can actually go over it and describe it and show you, but something like that. Okay. But hopefully we can get all this going and get this doing together. All right. A name for the trust, and then a t-shirt. Yeah, definitely. We've got to get. You just got to, you know, t-shirts and hoodies. Maybe a cap, baseball cap. Yeah, instead of having you know, New York one, we could have like UCC written on or something like that. That would be wicked, you know. But I had that because of the sun. You know, I can't spend too long in the sun. You know, look at me. But anyway, so hopefully I've covered what I wanted to cover. I wanted to actually say a bit like about like democracy, but it's going to go on too long, so I'm gonna probably just call it a day. All right. And what I will do next time is, if I want to do that, caps and car stickers will be excellent, awesome. Is I'll probably tell everyone that I'm going to do it, and then more people can come on and ask like more questions. All right, because I do get a lot of questions, and it is a big subject that you need to ask questions. It's scary and everything. I get it. I get everything, you know, and I try my best. I really do, and I want to help everyone. All right. But next time what I'll do is I'll maybe, because I've got it, if you're not on my email list, make sure you're on my email list. I don't abuse the email list. I don't send many out. But I do like to make sure that you all know that I am there as well, right? But I'll do another live, and I'll get like I'll give you a date and a time where we can do it, and you can come on and do a Q&A or something like that, because I do think it would be nice, and it also help, you know. But anyway, I think that'll do for now. It's quite late now for me. I think it's like what, quarter past 9. That is late for me. I'll be in bed in an hour. What's that say there? How can we know the value of your personal trust? I don't really know what that means. How about a tattoo? I've got plenty of them. You know, I'm getting one on there. Do we have enough time to do it all? Well, we just got to do a little bit at a time, haven't you? It's all, you know, Michelle, it is complicated, right? But start at the beginning, okay? And the first thing is to do the UCC one to get yourself a secured party creditor, and the addendum that goes along with that. There's videos on there to show you. If you have children or extra parties, there's videos as well to show how to do that. And then on the website as well, there is like the other forms that I'm talking about, which was the hold harmless agreement, the security agreement, the rescind of all signatures. And I'm pretty sure I've changed them all to be editable, like word format. If not, then the nearly all are, and all will be very soon. And all right, the chicken doesn't hurt that. Well, it does hurt actually, especially on the elbow, and the elbows. That's really painful. But that's the first steps, Michelle. So start doing that like that way, and you know, build it up. And any questions, ask in the group, get in the group, because it's good now, because there's more people that are learning more and helping others. You know, and they're like, because they've been through the process. Sometimes, you know, because you're dealing with like websites and everything like that, and you know, so everyone helps everybody else as well in the group. So if you're not in the group, you know, get yourself in there. All right, or prepare and learn as much as you can. If you can't do it yet, learn as much as you can, okay? And listen and watch everyone else, and then you'll get the knowledge when it's ready, time for you, when it's your time and you're ready to do it and you can afford it and everything, and you've got the knowledge to do that, okay? All right, I'm going to shoot off now. I don't know how to stop this. I couldn't do it last time, but fingers crossed. All right. Everybody take care. I'll tell you what, if I go back on here, let's see if I've got to do it there. I end it.